Time for part 2. Hello enemies and book lovers, my name is Ash and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be doing my second part of my manga taste test video. I have 8 left on this list. This is going to be a really big project. It's going to take me months to read all these. For me personally, I don't read a lot of manga usually, so for me to be doing this, it's going to take me months. It's already been 2 months and I am only halfway through this, so that's a good sign, isn't it? So I do have 8 left. I will show you what it is currently. So this was my ranking for what I thought I would like the most to the least. I'll be honest with you, my ranking is trash because I am very wrong with almost all my assumptions. I will tell you what I end up ranking them all in, and then what I thought I would rank them in. They are so not what I thought they would be. So I have 8 left in here. I'm going to pick one out and decide what one I'm going to be reading next. So let us see what the next one is going to be. Okay, let's go and see which one it is. I haven't gotten a single green book yet. I thought this was Vagabond. I thought this was like the only one in the top. No, it's not. This is not Vagabond. I don't even know if I'll be able to show it to you, but I will try my best. I already saw it, so it's not really a surprise. And this is Jujutsu Kaisen. We're continuing with the shonen. I don't know. I think all the contemporary is going to be at the very end. I think I'm just going to be reading like back-to-back contemporary. Okay, I'm not complaining about this at all, but okay. Jiji Akutami is the artist and illustrator. Artist and illustrator is the same thing. The writer and illustrator is Jiji Akutami, I believe at least. Similar to Demon Slayer, I have actually watched the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen. I watched it with my boyfriend. We had a good time with it. I really am enjoying it. What's the main character's name again? I don't remember him, but I remember Sukuna because Sukuna's iconic. And he's also, well, he's in the body of a teenager, but imagine Sukuna in Gojo though. There has to be artwork out there. It has to be artwork out there. I need to see the artwork. For research. Yeah, I watched the first season. I did enjoy the first season a lot. I haven't watched the second season yet, but I am looking forward to trying the manga because I actually do think I'll like this. I don't know if it's going to be surpassing. I don't know. I feel like this could, okay, if I had to guess, this might go over Demon Slayer, but I don't know. It depends on how the first volume kind of is, the pacing and how it looks. I do remember the first episode or two from the anime, so that might also kind of factor in to my enjoyment. If I remember everything, it might not be as interesting, but I will try my best and see if I enjoy this, and I'm looking forward to seeing if I do. So the first manga is going to be Jujutsu Kaisen for this part of the video, and let's see if I enjoy it. I've officially finished the 9th volume of this video with Jujutsu Kaisen, and I don't really know what to say or think about this volume. I feel like this is almost an unfair judgment from me because I have watched the first season of the anime twice. I already mentioned this probably, but I have watched the first season twice. One over like 3 years ago or when it first came out, and then one last year. And because of that, I was pretty familiar as to what was going to happen in this volume, and it was almost kind of bored because of that. So I don't feel like this was really fair, because if I already know exactly what's going to happen in the manga, it's not as exciting as reading a manga that you've never really seen before or saw the anime of. I really want to read the manga for myself because the amount of spoilers that's been coming out for not only the manga but the show, it's been insane. So part of me wants to continue to just read the series because of that. But when it comes to the actual manga itself in the first volume, I wasn't that enamored with it. I didn't love it. It was good, but like because I already knew what was going to happen, it was kind of boring. So I don't feel like this was a very fair judgment, and I don't really know where to place this. It felt like a lot faster paced than the anime, and I actually, so far, kind of prefer the anime over the manga so far because of the pacing, and there were scenes added to the anime that kind of fleshed out the manga a bit more. Like it seemed like it was going so quickly the first volume that it didn't really make a lot of sense. I think the only reason why this would be higher up on the list is because I am interested in continuing it and I know I want to continue it. But do I really like the manga? I don't know. I can't really give an unbiased opinion considering the fact that I've already watched, you know, the first season. It's about Itadori. He's a young man. His grandfather is sick in the hospital and ends up passing away. Before he does, he tells him to do good things in the world. So Itadori tries to do good, and at one point he tries to help his classmates at school because they are being attacked by demons, and so in order to help them, because he can't do it himself, he for some reason consumes a cursed finger, and this finger is actually Sukuna, which is a cursed spirit or a very, very strong demon, I guess. And because he already consumed one of the fingers and somehow survived, Gojo, who is the teacher that everyone loves, including myself, I'll be honest, he tells Itadori, either we off you right now because you know, you have this in you, or you consume all 20 of the cursed fingers, so that way we can destroy Sukuna by killing you. So inevitably he's going to end up dying regardless, but it's either now or later, and so I guess Itadori just decides later sounds like a better deal. I already talked about how I feel about this. I don't really know. I can't really give a clear, concise, you know, honest, unbiased opinion. I might just read this on my own time eventually at some point. I don't think that this will be in my top 5 only because of the pacing and everything didn't really work for me. But I was highly considering putting this in the top 4 only because of the fact that I really want to read it myself. But when it comes to this video, I have to be honest. I actually decided to put this under Kaiju number 8 and above Komi Can't Communicate in the 5th spot. I think that the 5th spot makes sense because I am interested in continuing, but mostly just because I want to know what happens and catch up to the manga. I don't think this one's gonna make it, and everything so far under Jujutsu Kaisen is definitely not gonna make it. So clearly it's going very well so far, but I'm hoping for a contemporary next. I have a lot more contemporaries left for this video, so I'm hopeful that maybe I will be getting one for my next choice because I really need to read something that's, you know, a shoujo would be nice because I've been reading so much shonen, and I think it'd be better for me to read something different. Also, like I said, I need to get a contemporary I enjoy. There has to be at least one in this whole thing. It has to happen. If it doesn't happen, I'm gonna be so disappointed in myself. Anyway, let's just move on to the 10th out of 16th volume for this video. We still have a lot of green, which is my second row for ones I think I'm gonna like. So let us just choose one at random again and see what I get. We have a blue one. Okay, blue is my 3rd row, which is the row that I'm unsure about. It's kind of like the 3rd row out of 4, so it's kind of like on the lower end. There's such a high chance I'll like this because I've just been so wrong this entire video. I'm not even gonna trust my past self because I've been so wrong about every assumption I've had. So I'm not even gonna trust myself. Okay, so the next one's going to be, whew, the pressure. I picked out A Silent Voice. The author and illustrator of this is Yoshitoki Oima. I am very nervous about this one because I've heard mixed things about the actual manga. I'm very familiar with the movie. The movie is one of my favorite things of all time. That movie is just incredible. Anything by Kyoto is incredible. And so I love A Silent Voice. But I've heard mixed things about the manga, so I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit unsure if I'll like this. This one, I might be right about being a bit lower, but I'm just hopeful that I will be wrong. This manga, along with the movie, touches on a lot of mental health aspects of it. We start with the main character. She is deaf, and she goes to a school, and she is bullied pretty heavily by one of the popular boys in school. And so we follow both of these characters, the girl and the boy, and they kind of grow up, and he kind of starts to realize things with her. What he's doing is wrong. It touches on so many different mental health aspects. The male character goes through anxiety and depression, and of course the female character, because she's being bullied and because she's deaf and the way that she's treated by other people, she obviously goes through her own form of depression. And so this one touches on so many things that the movie made me bawl my eyes out. The last scene in the movie, I remember it so vividly because it reminded me of my own social anxiety, and like, it's so well done. Like I said, if you never watched the movie before, just obviously be careful going into it if you have, you know, any triggers, but it's so incredibly beautiful, and it made me bawl my eyes out a few times in the movie, but the ending I remember as vividly as anything else. But like I said, I heard mixed things about the manga, so I'm a little bit nervous about how I'm going to feel about this, but I'm going to try my best to get through it and see if I like it, and hope that I do. Let me go and read A Silent Voice for my 10th volume. I'm on the double digits, thank goodness. I'm almost done. I only have 6 more after this, so let's go onto my 10th volume and see if I enjoy A Silent Voice. I finished A Silent Voice by Yoshitoki Oima, something along the lines. I'm not very good at reading Romaji. I'm better at reading hiragana, which is kind of like a part of the alphabet of Japanese. Anyway, I actually read this a while ago, but I picked up A Silent Voice maybe like a week or so ago, probably like a week and a half ago at this point. This is kind of like a slice of life, contemporary, very emotional series. First volume of the manga touches upon pretty difficult subject matter, and it mostly just revolves around the past of the main protagonists. We have the female lead protagonist, which is Shoko Nishimiya, and then we have the male protagonist, Shoyo Ishida. So Nishimiya is a new student in the school, and she is deaf. She goes into the school, and instantaneously Ishida kind of targets her for some reason, and he starts to bully her pretty heavily. It's really hard to read. I was bullied a lot growing up, not to this severity, thankfully, but I was bullied for years, and it's kind of a touchy subject with me. I think that's why the movie hit me really hard. There's a lot of reasons why, but that was one of the few reasons. And alongside Ishida is his group of friends who are kind of following along with him. They're not really doing it as severely as him, but a lot of the time they are kind of doing it with him, or being like bystanders, so they're not stopping him at all. It's obvious that the male lead, Ishida, is kind of the one we don't really want to like, at least right away. He is very, very mean in the first beginning of the book, but as it goes on, we see that people start to turn their backs against him. He bullies her to the point where he becomes ostracized himself. we see that Nishimiya kind of tries to protect him from it. Even though he's been horrible to her, she tries to do things that makes him more comfortable. And then we see Nishimiya kind of trying to talk to Ishida. She's very kind to him, and it's very hard to read because she's obviously trying to be kind to him despite his horrible nature and attitude towards her, and it's really difficult at times to read that. When I was bullied, I did something similar. I wasn't rude to my bullies. I was actually like killing them with kindness. That's kind of what Nishimiya is doing, and it's hard to read it because I understand how she feels. This I already know where this is going. There are parts in the movie that just broke me. There's so many things that kind of speak to me and a lot of people out there, and I feel like there's a little bit of a bias because I liked the movie that I'm probably going to like the manga, and I actually really did like the first volume. It touched upon a lot of things, like I said, that I'm familiar with, and a lot of things I'm not as familiar with, like being deaf and how someone that is deaf might be treated in an environment that people might not be aware of, like other children not understanding and being completely rude and idiotic just because they don't really know how to handle situations. We just see the progression of Ishida becoming a bully to being ostracized and being ignored and being shut out from everyone else, and you see that he becomes shut out literally in the manga by putting X's over the heads of the people that he used to know or the people around him who are pretty much just ignoring him at this point. We cut back to the future where Ishida meets Nishimiya when they are a little bit older, and he's trying to communicate with her, even though obviously she's not very comfortable considering the fact that, yeah, he bullied her for years, and of course she's not going to like him, but she's a very kind soul. She's a very kind soul, and it's really hard to read about her being treated like this because I feel like the nicest people in the world get treated the worst sometimes. So I just, my heart goes out to her. I love her so much, and I definitely think I might be rating this pretty high. So this is actually going to be one of the higher ranking ones on this list. So I'm actually going to be potentially putting a slice of life or contemporary kind of book in the top spots. That would be kind of nice if I can do that. So with that in mind, because I enjoyed this, I'm actually going to put this in the 4th spot. So I'm going to put this beneath Fullmetal Alchemist and above Kaiju number 8, and this one will be, like I said, the 4th spot. Now that means Jujutsu Kaisen will not be chosen in my top 5, which is almost unfortunate because I really wanted to try getting to it because I wanted to catch up so that I don't get spoiled, but at the same time I don't really mind too much because I didn't love the first volume of Jujutsu Kaisen personally. I think the anime kind of did it better in regards to the pacing of what the first volume tried to do. I might be unpopular opinion, I don't know, but like I just think that it was paced better in the anime than in the manga, and the interest was a lot higher for me than Jujutsu Kaisen's first volume. So yeah, this is me, the 4th spot. That's actually really surprising. It's so nice to have a contemporary up there, and I am looking forward to maybe continuing this. If I don't continue it now, I definitely will in the future. I think my 6th to 10th book I will eventually read. I'm not going to give up on those books. I actually do want to continue them. Like Jujutsu Kaisen, Kaiju 8, I might actually read those. I don't know if they'll be in my top, but I definitely think I will read those and continue the series because I'm interested in them. So I have read 10 books so far. I have 6 left to go. Let's go on to my 11th choice and see what my 11th manga is going to be. I am looking forward to finally getting to the end. I only have 6 left. I'm in the double digits now. That's fun. Well, I've been in double digits for a little bit, but whatever. Green is the most likely outcome, but I don't know what I'm going to be getting, obviously. So, but green has 3 options and every other one has only 1. So let's see what I'm going to be getting. Green. Let's see what this one is. Okay, let me just look now to see what one this is going to be. My next choice is going to be, ooh, I actually picked up only because it was on Hoopla. That's the only reason why I have this one picked up. This is the Pet Detective Agency. This is a male-male relationship, so it's between 2 male characters, and it is a boss of a company, I think. I might be wrong about this, and one of the workers that work in a pet detective agency where they kind of like take in animals or something. I might be completely wrong. Honestly, I read the synopsis of this months ago, so I completely don't remember any of it, but it looks cute. It sounds cute. I don't know if it's going to actually be good, but I'm going to have hope that it will be because it has animals in it and it's gay. The author's name is just Noji. That's all it is. And this also has a pretty low rating on Goodreads. But you know what? I'm just going to pretend I didn't see that. So I'm going to read this on Hoopla, and hopefully I will enjoy it. I finished the first volume of The Pet Detective Agency by, I think, Noji, I should say. Honestly, I've been having a really hard time filming videos. My motivation for my channel has dropped the same way that my subscribers have been dropping, probably because I'm not posting enough. And it's been a little bit, it's making it hard for me to want to post because I feel like no one cares anymore, which is not a very nice thing to think, but I've been like this for like weeks now, so I haven't been filming much, but I'm finally going to be filming this part of the video because it's about time. There's a few things I want to discuss in regards to this manga. This is a standalone, so this doesn't even work for the video. Although, good thing is that I don't think I'm gonna have this in my top 5 at all anyway, so this is kind of works out in my favor. Pretty simple premise. We have a detective agency. The black-haired guy in this is the boss. He's the one that kind of runs it. And then we have the pink-haired character who's like the taller, more brutish one, but he is the one that works underneath the other guy. And there is a little bit of a romance. The pink-haired one, lighter-haired one, I think he's like 17, he's like 18, 19 or something like that. And he's in a relationship with the other character. Even though they're a detective agency, they kind of stumble upon animals and they kind of begin to accumulate them and take them in because of the bigger pink-haired guy. He kind of has like a really good affinity with animals, and so they're like attracted to him and they like being around him. And so it kind of becomes like this little pet detective agency alongside of the normal agency. And that's pretty much the whole premise of the first volume. There is a romance between both male characters and it is cute at times. There is a few not so enjoyed reviews of people getting upset at the beginning because the taller, younger guy, he tries to kind of like get the older, dark-haired guy to do things with him, but the boss is like, no, we can't do anything. You're too young. We have to like wait for your birthday. And he's like 18 or 19. So it's not too creepy. But then the younger character keeps trying to push himself onto the other character. And I'm kind of used to this in manga, unfortunately. Unfortunately, in yaoi, which is Japanese male manga, in yaoi, it's kind of common for this stuff to happen. So it wasn't very jarring for me personally, because I've been reading yaoi since I was younger. So for me, this is pretty normal, but I could see why this is a problem. The relationship was cute at times. There was a few panels I thought were adorable, but there's also other things that I'm just like unsure about, honestly. They do end up like being together intimately at the end. It's not on page, but it's very obviously hinted because of the, you know, the speech bubbles. It was fine. It was a very easy, fast volume. It was only one volume, and I'm not gonna even continue this. And even if I could, I don't think I really would care that much. It was interesting. The animals were cute. The premise was kind of cute, but it was just fine, in my opinion. It was just okay. In regards to where I'm going to be placing this on the 16 ranking system, I'm going to be putting this below Komi Can't Communicate and above Wotokai, Love is Hard for an Otaku, because it was, in my opinion, better than Wotokai. Even though I know it was my fault that I didn't understand Wotokai. I'm sorry, but I just couldn't get into it. So obviously it's not going to continue forward, and still the top 5 are still in the top 5, so this is good. This is great. The top 5 currently are very like popular series. Although I would say that Kaiju number 8 isn't as popular as maybe like Fullmetal Alchemist, Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan. So it seems, I'm curious. There are 5 volumes left. I am so looking forward to finishing this video. I've been working on this since November and it's almost March. So I really need to finish this. Here they are. These are my last 1, 2, 3, 4. Why did I count them? I knew it was 5. What am I doing? There are 5 left. There are 2 green and then 1 of every other color. We have a mixed bag and I'm looking forward to seeing what I get. I really want to get Fruit Basket because I have the physical copy and I've had to return it to my library already once. Let's see what I get now. Oh, we got a green. So we have 1 of every color left and I have a second green, so this is actually kind of perfect. I'm actually surprised there's 1 of every color left. That's actually kind of cool. I don't want to look at what's left though. I kind of want to be surprised because I kind of forgot already some of them. Let's see what which one is this now? The 12th one is going to be. What is it? I'm excited about this. Am I excited about it? I think so. Everything I think I'm gonna like, I don't know if I like. So this is a slice of life drama manga, pretty similar to the other ones, like a contemporary slice of life kind of book. My Annie list, which has all my information about my manga, my anime that I'm currently watching or reading or want to read or want to watch. It's like Goodreads for anime and manga. Following the main character, Yatora Yoguchi, who is an artist. He's a painter, and honestly, that's all I know about it. All I really know is the main character is a painter, and I like art. I am a person that loves doing painting and artwork and all that fun stuff. So I mean, I'm interested in this. I'm curious about it. I do enjoy sports anime. Like I'm currently watching Haikyuu, so it's kind of cool to be reading something that has to do with art because I feel like that's not very common. I think Your Lie in April is another like anime and or manga that deals with music. So I think it's really cool to read something that has art in some form. So for the 12th volume, I'm going to be reading Blue Period. Let's go. Before I talk about that, I am watching anime right now. Well, my laptop's kind of blocking it. I'm on the final 2 episodes of Haikyuu season 1. So I'm going to be finishing the first season of Haikyuu this month, or today, hopefully. And I'm really excited about it, but we're not here for that. We're here for Blue Period. I finished Blue Period, and overall, I genuinely liked this. In this volume, you're following Yatora Yoguchi. He has to decide what university he wants to go to, and he doesn't really know what he really wants to do, what he's passionate about. But then he kind of stumbles upon a student in art class who has this gorgeous painting, and he starts to ask questions about it and asks the color choices and why these choices were made, and he starts to become curious about art. At one point he paints his own type of picture, and then he starts to realize he likes what he's doing and he wants to continue doing it, and so he goes into art class, he meets a bunch of students, and then we see Yoguchi kind of deciding to go into University of the Arts. This entire time that we're following him, we are getting lessons from the art teacher. I went into art class in high school. I think it was 2 years. I don't know why I did that to myself. Why did I go into art class? I am not even that good of an artist. I just wanted to go in because I thought it would be like an easier elective to go into. It wasn't. I was the worst in my class, and I'm not even that bad of an artist. I'm not that bad. I'm not the best, but I'm not bad. And I was the weakest in the class, which was very embarrassing for me because I feel like art is definitely subjective, and the teacher didn't love my artwork because it wasn't great. That being said, this volume, or I'm assuming the manga itself, kind of talks about different types of mediums, different art, different types of art forms. They tell you different types of tips and techniques to draw or paint. It's actually really cool to see. It really brought me back to my years of art class, and it was really cool to see a few things I've never actually heard of and things I had heard of. Overall, it was really cool to see that, but I don't know where I'm gonna rank this. This is hard because I genuinely like this and I kind of want it to be in the top 5, but I don't know if it is in the top 5. Unfortunately, this is going to be in the 6th spot above Jujutsu Kaisen and under Kaiju number 8. I really did enjoy this, but I don't think I enjoyed it more than the others. This is another one that I would love to read. So even though it is not in the top 5 and I will not be getting to it this year, it's something I definitely want to get to next year. Similar to Jujutsu Kaisen, I really want to get to that probably next year as well. So Blue Period is going to be my 6th spot, so it's not going to be making it to my 2024 reads, but I still really liked it. Okay, moving on, we are going to be going to our next choice. There's only 4 left. I am so excited to be finishing this. I'm hoping to get this video up by March. So let's see, we have one of every single color left. Let's see which one's going to be. I think there's 3 contemporaries left and 1 more of like an adult fantasy, which is Vagabond, and I'm so excited for Vagabond. So what is one's going to be? Let's see. Oh, this is not rigged, I promise you, and I already know what it is because this is the only spot left in my top 4 that I wanted to read. It's Vagabond. It's Vagabond. For this choice, I got Vagabond. This is a pretty popular manga series. At least I think it is. I've heard a lot of good things. I've heard a lot of people enjoy it. I've heard a lot of people recently in the manga community talking about the series, so I'm really excited about it. All I know about this is that this is more set in the past. It has obviously fighting and gore. It's probably similar in a way to Berserk, with less of that fantasy element and more of a historical past kind of thing with like a swordsman. So that's all I really know about it, and I am looking forward to it. I do know that it is a slow building manga series, so I might not love the first volume. I'm a little bit nervous about that, but I am trying to rank this off of the first volume and not what I think I'm going to feel throughout the entire series. So I'm still hoping I will enjoy this even if it's a slow start. I think I'm realizing as I'm doing this that I like adult manga and not YA or like ones for younger men and women. I'm kind of more interested in books that are more adult and more serious and have a lot more serious subject matter. So I think this is one I potentially will enjoy. This was in my first spot. I'm expecting to have this at least in my top 4. So let's see if I actually agree with that. Hello, hi. I just showered, so my hair is wet. Apologies. But I have finished, as you can imagine, Vagabond. Originally, this is what I thought my favorite book would be in this entire project I'm doing, so let's see if I actually agree with that. So let me just talk about briefly what this is about, because I didn't really know anything about it prior to this, and honestly I still don't really know what the heck is happening, but I'm going with it. I'm following the characters and seeing where they bring me, because I feel like that's all it is in the first volume. So the first volume, we start off on a battlefield. We have 2 characters. One is Shinmen Takezo, who is, I feel like, the main protagonist. He's 17 years old, so he's pretty young, but he's very powerful. He's able to kill people very easily, and he's been doing it, I think, since he was like 12 or 13 years old. Then we also have his friend that was also on the battlefield named Honiden Matahachi, and I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy. The first original thought when I saw him, I was okay with him when I first saw him. Not sure, but then I got to know him more in the volume, and I just don't like him. I'm sure that's universal. As they progress through the battlefield, someone tries to attack them. Kezo stops that from happening, obviously, because he's very strong and good at his job. But as he collapses on the ground, a young girl finds him and takes him and Matahachi back to their kind of homestead. What happens after this isn't really spoilers, but I feel like I don't really want to talk too much about it. They go to this homestead with this woman and her daughter, and it's it's strange. We know that Matahachi has a fiance back home and he wants to get back to her, supposedly. Kezo is very much hunted, like has a bounty on his head. Everyone's trying to off him and find him. I am not entirely sure why. I think it's just because of how dangerous he is, and he keeps like offing all the chiefs and leaders of the different groups, and so they're just like, now we need to kill him because we need revenge. But then he is too strong, and then he ends up killing all of them, and it's a very back and forth. What will happen after this, I have no clue. Not a lot of things happened in this volume in regards to the main plot. Like I said, I think prior that this is a very slow moving progression kind of plot line, so I don't really know a lot right now what's happening. But although it was something that really did keep my intrigue, and I read this in one sitting, which is pretty common I think for most manga readers, but I usually take 1 to 2 days to read manga, more if I'm not really that into it, and this one it took me 1 sitting rather than 2. A lot of the time I read them in like 2-day periods. This one I read it in 1 sitting, and like I really liked it. It kept me preoccupied. Do I think it's my favorite though? No. I feel like for a first volume it wasn't as intriguing as Attack on Titan, and so definitely it's not going to be in the first spot, but I do think it will probably be in the top 5. I like the characters. It's dark obviously, and it has a lot of themes in it that is very mature, if you can imagine. So it's very similar to Berserk, but it has more of like a samurai old Japanese feel to it. I thought this would be the first spot, but it's not, although it is in the top 5. This is going to be under Demon Slayer and above Fullmetal Alchemist, which means unfortunately that Kaiju number 8 is kicked down to 6, which means I will not be able to read it this year, which is kind of unfortunate because I really genuinely did like Kaiju number 8, and now that I think about it, I was a little bit critical with it when I first read it because it was my first volume, but now that I think back to it, it was really interesting and I love the way it ended. It made me want to keep reading. But the other ones above this definitely are ones I want to continue more. That though, there are still 3 volumes left, and I'm hoping I can still enjoy these ones. I think they're all contemporaries, so that means I'll at least have 1 slice of life in the top 5, which is, thank goodness. I was really worried about it. I thought I wouldn't have any, but luckily I do have at least 1 in my top 5, which is a relief. Honestly, it is a relief. I'm yet again playing Elden Ring. I'm currently in the Well of, I want to say Syria? I don't remember what the name of it is, but me and Blythe are having a good time and I'm enjoying it. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm playing Elden Ring. As usual, I should be reading. Don't come at me. Being a reader and a gamer and having other hobbies is like the worst combination in the world. It's so hard to balance hobbies. It's just so hard to do. There are 3 left. So let me just select one and see what we're getting for the third, or the third last. What is this one? The 14th one. Wow, I've been doing this for a long time now. We have blue, which is second to last. So the 3rd out of 4th row. One I think I might enjoy, but I'm a little bit unsure about. So let us see what the 14th volume is going to be for this video. Oh, we got Sweat and Soap. Okay, this is fun. Fullmetal Alchemist and Sweat and Soap are both the ones I stole from Sarah's channel. Link down below if you like manga, fantasy, those kind of genres. But yes, I got Sweat and Soap. So this is about a girl who sweats and she's very ashamed of how she smells and the fact that she sweats. And then we have a male character who notices her scent and she's a bit ashamed when he does, but then she realizes that he actually likes the smell of her rather than being like repulsed by it. And it's so random, but I've heard a few actual booktubers talking about this. So this is the 3rd to last one. I'm almost done this video, almost done the 2nd part, thank goodness. And then we're going to see what top 5 I have. We already know 2 of them. Let's see what the last 3 are going to be. But for now, let me go read Sweat and Soap. I'm probably going to be playing Elden Ring, I'll be honest, but I'll read Sweat and Soap tonight before bed probably, and then talk to you about it in the morning. Hey, it's me. Again, I think you're getting tired of me, aren't you? I'm definitely getting tired of editing this. So I read first volume of Sweat and Soap by Kintetsu Yamada, and thoughts. Now, the first thing I have to mention about this is that I didn't know. So I would say about 2 seconds after I filmed the first part of my video, I was completely oblivious to the fact that this was ecchi until literally like 2 seconds after the video I filmed. And then I read down and I realized it said ecchi in the genre, and I was a little nervous at first, I'll be honest with you. I'm not usually the biggest fan of ecchi. Ecchi, if you don't know, in like manga and anime, it's kind of like censored nudity. Like you don't see everything, but you see a decent amount, and like there's hints of things, but not the full thing, you know what I'm trying to say? So I was a little bit nervous going into this because usually me and Ecchi don't work very well together if it's done in like an annoying way. This is different. The reason why this is different is because the reason why there was even Ecchi involved is because it was part of the romance. Like, her getting slightly undressed is because, you know, the guy's doing it for her. So it's not that bad. I actually kind of liked it. It was more tasteful. It actually had a reason because, you know, there's a relationship between the characters. So, you know, they're just getting undressed and stuff. You know what I'm trying to say. In this manga, we're following mainly two characters. We have Kotaro Natori is the male lead, and Asako Yashima is the female lead. Yashima is a young woman who sweats a lot and she's very embarrassed by it. But then we have Natori, who ends up really liking her scent. He creates like soap lines and he makes like fragrances and he does things involve scents, and he's like loves different scents, and he ends up loving Yashima's scent. And so it pretty much just becomes a relationship between them because of this. It's a very simple plot. That's literally the reason why they end up together. And it definitely is very interesting because we have Natori just like always smelling her. And in my Goodreads review, I put, I'm not against like men having heightened sense of smells because I read paranormal romances. You know how many times like a werewolf guy is like sniffing a girl and he's like, you smell like mine. And I'm like, that's so stupid. I love it. So that's just how I am. I think it's kind of, I find it slightly attractive, okay? And like the scenes, the panels of him like smelling her, and I don't, guilty. I like it, okay? I'm guilty. My biggest gripe is that it's a bit too fast, although the author or the manga artist actually said that this was supposed to be a standalone. So originally this was a standalone, so it might have been really fast because of that. It was something that would have been able to be held up by itself. So I'm not going to get too upset with the manga volume because it was supposed to be, you know, the only volume in this entire series, and it ended up becoming a series because of the love that it received. So I understand why it was so fast. I just wish it was a little bit slower. Within the first like chapter or two, they sleep together, so it's a little quick, but I still enjoyed it overall. Did I like it more than the other top 5 though? Unfortunately, I don't think so. I like this more than I thought I would like, and it kind of like surpassed my expectations because I expected this to be kind of just like, you know, contemporary. I can fly through it pretty easily, but I wasn't going to be that invested into it. And I actually am a little bit invested. I think there's only like 11 volumes, which is a lot more manageable compared to the other ones. But it's not going to be in my top 5, which is sad. But I do want to continue this in the future because I'm very much invested in the romance of it, and the panels are kind of hot, so I'm going to probably continue this eventually. But in regards to placement, I'm going to be placing this under Kaiju number 8 and above Blue Period. So this is going to be in the 7th spot, which is pretty solid. I will say it's pretty solid. Now we only have 2 left. We have Fruits Baskets and Bloom Into You. So we only have 2 options. They're both contemporaries. I'm not sure if any of these are going to be in the top 5. I'm pretty sure that the ones are in the top 5 are probably going to be there for the long run or the long haul, but I'm still going to see if I like the other 2. I really hope I get Fruits Basket because I feel like this book is a prisoner right now because I've had it for like 2-3 months from my library. They made me bring it back and then I took it out again. I think the library thinks I'm like taking it hostage. So I really want to make sure I get to this. I hope it's the next one. If it's not the next one, I swear, the one time I get a physical volume from my library, it has to be the one that's last. I swear, if it's last, let me decide what the next one's going to be and pick it out. There's only 2 in here. If it's red, it's Fruits Basket, and if it's green, it's Bloom Into You. So we'll know by the color, not the, because I already know what the color scheme is going to be. So if it's red, it's Fruits Basket. Please be red. You can look at it first. What color is it? So like I said, what are the chances that the only volume I have physically is my last book? I've been doing this since November, and I'm not even gonna say anything. This is Bloom Into You by Nakatoni Nio. This is a Yuri, or like a female manga. Don't know anything about it other than the fact that it's a Yuri contemporary, like probably slice of life, something like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it. I really want to read more like female manga. I feel like it's a lot more rare in comparison to yaoi, which is like male. So I'm looking forward to trying something different and new for myself. I did want Fruits Basket just because I need to get it like finished so I could bring it back to the library, but I think that's gonna be my last one. I guess leaving it off physically is a good way to go. So I'm gonna read Bloom Into You, update you on it, and then I'm going to try Fruits Basket afterward. So let's go into Bloom Into You and see if I like it. More contemporary books, let's see if I enjoy it. So we are here. We have finished this project. After 16 volumes, I've completed all 16 of them, and it only took me 4 months. I did read Bloom Into You, but because I only had 1 volume left of a manga, I decided to just go into Fruits Basket as well. So I read both, and I'm going to talk about them right now, but first I'm going to go into Bloom Into You first, and then fruits basket, and then I will tell you what my top 5 are going to be. If you hear tapping next to you, it's just the rain. You are right next to a window and it's raining right now, so hopefully it's not too loud. A little bit of ASMR with some raindrops and sirens, supposedly. First thing I read was Bloom Into You. This was written by Nio Nakatani. The main character's name is Yu Koito, and then we have the female protagonist that's also, you know, like her love interest, which is Toko Nanami. Taoko and Yu are in the same school together. I think Taoko is in a grade above her, so she's at least a year older than her. Yu is someone that loves romance. She likes to read, you know, romantic books, and she loves to see romance and love inside of them, but she's never experienced it herself. Yu tries to join a club, and then while she's trying to find that, she notices Taoko talking to a young man who's also like confessing that he likes her, and Taoko just nicely just says, no, I'm not interested in you. This kind of starts a conversation between Yu and Taoko about romance and how Yu doesn't really have any romantic feelings toward anyone, and she's not really sure why, because she's someone that really wants to be, you know, in love, and she wants to be in a relationship, but there's no one that really catches her interest, and so she kind of just doesn't understand why that is the case. Overall though, did I really like the manga itself? I just thought it was sweet and easy to read. I don't know if I will continue this in the future, but it is good to read a Yuri because I feel like I don't read them often. I just feel like slice of life contemporaries are not my thing anymore. I kind of come to that conclusion for this whole thing that I definitely don't think I'm interested in anymore. And it's sad, but also it's kind of nice to know that, because now I can actually go into things I actually enjoy. The romance was a bit too quick for me, but I feel like that's kind of just a thing in manga for some reason. They don't really like doing slow burn. If you have any like slow burn recommendations, I would love to hear them, because they just always get together in like the first chapter or two. And like there's so many volumes. Why didn't they just, you know, wait a few volumes? But alas, it's okay, I guess. I'm going to tell you the placements at the very end, but for now we're going to move on to the final volume. And obviously you're aware already that it's Fruits Basket. This is done by Natsuki Takaya, and this one is another slice of life romance kind of manga, I guess you can say. This is a collector's edition from my library. They have all of them, which makes me want to continue it. But do I like this one? I have a few thoughts. I'll talk about it at the end. This is about a girl who lost her mother, and her grandfather is doing renovations on the house, so she has nowhere to go. He tells her to go to like a friend's house, but she has nowhere to go still. So she ends up going into a tent in the woods to sleep in, which is a very interesting and not a great idea. As she's in the tent in the woods, she kind of comes across accidentally a house, and she investigates it, and she realizes there's 2 men living in it. The black-haired taller guy is Shigure Soma, and then the shorter gray white-haired character is Yuki Soma. Then they tell her that you can live with us too. We have a spare bedroom. If you can clean the house, cook for us, all that kind of stuff, you can live here for free. Which I feel like is like, yeah, like I would do that in a heartbeat. And so she ends up doing it. She says yes, of course. And she lives with these men. Another guy shows up. His name is Kyo Soma, and he's my favorite character. He is the orange-haired character. He is my favorite of all of them so far. The main character at one point, Taru Handa, accidentally falls and like hugs one of the men, and then they turn into an animal. And then she finds out that these men in the Soma family, or like the lines, or like the cousins of each other, or like siblings of each other, they have the power to become the animals of the Chinese zodiac. The black-haired character is the year of the dog, so he turns into a dog. We have Yuki, who turns into a rat, and then we have Kyo, who turns into a cat, even though Kyo technically isn't in the Chinese zodiac because cats aren't involved in it. So he's a little bit like resentful toward it. He's like the more serious, kind of like the one that gets like the most angry all the time, and he's my favorite. This kind of introduces a lot of the characters in the family and just kind of gets to know them and what their zodiacs are. I want to see more of the other characters because I'm very curious as to what they're going to be. The only thing that really kind of hindered this was that the art style is not really for me personally. I already knew that. That's why I have this like on lower on my list. I thought I was not going to enjoy this for that reason. I will show you a little bit of why. I mean, you saw some of the snippets, but let me show you another reason as to why. This is more of like the older art style of manga. I'm fully aware that that's like a style that they use, and it's just not my thing. The whole like big eyes reminds me of bugs. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Look at that, man. I don't want to hate on the artists because it's a style. I'm just not a fan of the style. I know that the anime has like a more updated version, and I think I'm going to watch that version of the anime as opposed to the older one, because I just don't personally think I can get into it with the art style. It's just not my thing. Maybe I've just been spoiled with the more recent looks to manga, but like I just can't do it. I'm trying, okay? Another really weird thing about this is that there is a character who's like, they're all cousins, right? All the Soma people, the people that are from the Chinese zodiac, they're all related to each other in some way. At one point, there's a female character that shows up that is part of this family. She is a cousin to Kyo. I feel like this happens in manga and anime sometimes between like siblings, or like family members. There's like this weird romantic pining and it's very uncomfortable. And in this one, it does happen as well with her. She says that she wants to marry Kyo, and she says that, oh, we can hug each other because we're in the same family, so like they won't turn into animals if they hug each other. And I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, you can hug each other because you're from the same family. There's another scene where like two of the guys are this close to each other's faces, and I just felt like they're cousins. They're cousins. That being said, I do like the characters. I did find myself interested in this. The library has all collector's editions, so it makes me really want to continue. I think I might, but I don't think it's going to be in my top 5. Now that this is done, let me talk about what the order is going to be in and what I'm going to be reading when it comes to 2024 and probably some of 2025 as well. So we're going to start from the 16th and go up to the 1st. From 16th to 13th, it's going to be Boss Bride Days, Black Torch, Wotokai, Love is Hard for an Otaku, and The Pet Detective Agency. I don't think I'm going to read any of these at all in the future. These are ones I'm not interested in whatsoever. So even if I were to, you know, in a year or two from now want to pick up a new manga, I'm probably not gonna pick up any of these. They're not really ones I'm interested in. From 12th place to 9th place, we have Komi Can't Communicate, Bloom Into You, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Fruits Basket. So that's where I placed Fruits Basket and Bloom Into You. Bloom Into You is 11th. I did like it. I just don't think I enjoyed it as much as I thought I was going to. And then Fruits Basket, I surprisingly actually had it a little bit higher than I expected it to be. I liked it more than Jujutsu Kaisen, which is pretty surprising. But Jujutsu Kaisen, I just didn't like the pacing of it personally. Just my personal opinion. I know that might be a little bit unpopular. I know it's a very popular manga series, but I do want to continue Jujutsu Kaisen because I think it's something that I really want to continue forward with before I get very spoiled on it. I feel like anything in this line and up, I do want to maybe continue someday. I have a pretty decent interest in all of these. I think the only line would be the last line that I don't want to continue with. Everything from 12th and up, I actually might eventually continue in the future. Going off of that, these are also ones I definitely want to continue, even if they are not in my top 5. We have 8th place to 5th place. We have Blue Period, Sweat and Soap, Kaiju number 8, and A Silent Voice. So Blue Period, Sweat and Soap, Kaiju number 8 will not be ones I'm going to be reading at least this year or next year, unless obviously next year I have space to read one of these. But I actually genuinely liked all 3 of these so much that I do want to continue them for sure. And then obviously A Silent Voice is going to be my 5th spot, so I'm going to be continuing A Silent Voice. There's a slight bias because I love the movie, but I think that the manga did surprise me in regards to it just like making me feel a lot of things, and I like the emotion in it, and it's nice that I have at least one contemporary in my top 5. In the number 4 spot is Fullmetal Alchemist. I actually am kind of shocked that I have this in my top 5. I wasn't sure if I would like it. I was a little bit unsure, trepidatious about it. I think that the first volume wasn't very strong though, so it could have easily been bumped down, but thankfully it stayed up because the first volume wasn't that strong in my opinion. I think that didn't catch my interest. It was kind of just random, kind of just introducing the brothers, but I think that in the future as it goes on it'll get better, and I'm looking forward to that. In the number 3 spot we have Vagabond. I did think I was gonna like this. I think this was my prediction to be the first spot. It would end up being my 3rd though, but still I quite enjoyed this. I like the mature aspects of it. It was very dark and gritty. It gives me like Berserk vibes, and I love Berserk so much, so I like having something that has a similar kind of feel toward it. It just holds nothing back, and I really like that about Vagabond. The number 2 spot is one that I did not think I would like because I thought the art style wasn't my thing, but I ended up liking it, and that's Demon Slayer. I am shocked that I actually genuinely liked this volume of this manga. I didn't think I would, and I am just happy that I'm actually going to be reading this. It makes me want to continue the anime, but I kind of want to read the manga and then get into the anime. I kind of prefer reading then watching as opposed to watching and reading. So I think I'm going to be continuing the manga so that eventually I can continue the anime in the future. And then the number 1 spot is not a surprise because I've already been reading it for the past like 3 months, and I'm a little bit shocked about this one as well because I didn't really expect it to be number 1, but I'm really happy that it is. And that is of course Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is very popular and it just recently finished, and I know has mixed reviews on the ending, but I'm just like loving it. I am loving it so much. I love the characters. I like the dark, gritty, depressing aspect of it, which is weird, but I genuinely like it. And then watching the anime with my boyfriend, he read them all as it was coming out for years and years, and he's never completed all the anime, so we're gonna kind of experience it together for the first time. So I'm looking forward to actually getting to this, reading the manga, and then watching the anime alongside it. So for my top 5, Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, Vagabond, Fullmetal Alchemist, and A Silent Voice. I'm looking forward to reading these not only in 2024, but like I said, probably in 2025 because I'm a very bad and slow manga reader, but I'm really looking forward to it because I feel like all of these are just, I like how they're all pretty different from one another, at least in most regards, and I don't know, I'm really excited about it. I'm really happy about it. I'm going to show you what they all are together. This is the order from 1st to 16th, and then I'm also going to show you what I expected it to be. So I was pretty wrong, and I didn't get a lot of them right, but at least I got some kind of right, I guess. If you have any seinen or shonen recommendations, please let me know. I know that Vinland Saga is probably going to be one I'm going to enjoy a lot, so I definitely want to pick up Vinland Saga because I think it also gives a similar feel, some of the manga that I really enjoy. If you made it this far into the video, not only do I want to thank you wholeheartedly because that's a commitment. I would not have been able to do it if I was you. If you skip to the ending, that's legitimately okay because I would have done the same, I'll be honest. But if you have gotten this far into the end of the video, leave an emoji relating to your Chinese zodiac. So whatever your Chinese zodiac is, I am the year of the dog. I'm from 1994. So I am the year of the dog. So I would put like a dog related emoji. I like to know people's Chinese zodiacs. It's really cool to learn about. And I like being the year of the dog because I'm a dog person. I like cats. I'm like a personality of a cat, but I'm a dog person. Like I said, if you made it this far, thank you so much. I know this was a huge commitment, not only for me, but for you. I've been filming this for 4 months. It's taken me over 18 hours to film and edit. This is like my biggest video project. I don't know if I'm ever gonna do something this big in the future, but I don't think 16 is a good amount. Next time I'll do like 10 manga. That's probably good enough. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you for being here. Let me know if you have any favorite manga or anime or anything like that because I love to hear about it. If you don't read manga or watch anime, I appreciate you for being here because you really don't have to be here. You don't have to be here at all. And with that, I'm finally going to be ending the video off here. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great reading month and I hope to see you all soon. Goodbye, everyone.